Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Fancy meeting you here. Um, Last week, you guys got a recording because I was busy, busy, busy. I have some more busy days coming up. But I wanted to be here with you today live while I still have some internet up in here. Hold on, let me see. I don't have my lighting here, so I hope that you guys can see me. I hope that I'm coming over well. And plus, a plane decided to fly over as soon as I logged on. So thank you for those who are viewing live, and also for those who will be viewing the recording. I um, I say welcome to a nonprofit nugget with Dr. Deborah. I am Dr. Deborah Dunston, nonprofit strategist and funding coach and award winning fundraiser. That's right. And as you know, this show, A Nonprofit Nugget, is so that I can answer some of the questions you may have as a nonprofit leader, a nonprofit worker, volunteer, board member, so that you can get some of your questions answered. I cover some of the questions that I get from some of my clients who I already serve, and also just from some of you who may just be interested in finding out more before you decide should it be 501c3 or not. So I also help you to get funding ready so that can become stable enough, sustainable enough, so that you can continue to do the great work that you do in your community. So I won't be before you long today, but I really wanted to cover this question. Um, is not as easily answered because I see a lot of people kind of struggle with it. Where do you stand on it? But the question today is, and I got this from more than one person. The question today is, why do I need to share about the work that my nonprofit organization is doing? Why do I even need to share? Um, there are several reasons why you should share the good work that you're doing. Um, but I know sometimes we can find it hard. We, as nonprofit founders and leaders, find it a little awkward sometimes sharing our own work, um, because, several reasons, and we'll cover some of those. But I do believe that it is important. There are several reasons that it is important that we do share the work that we do let people know that we're even around, that we introduce our organization into the community that we are working in. It's a very important part of the process of not only getting funding ready, of not only getting sustainable, but also in just letting those who need you know that you're around. How people can even know that you're willing to serve unless you say that I am serving, right? Okay. So lots of reasons to do it. Some of the reasons we don't do it. Number one is that we really just don't know how to do it. Where do we even start? How do we even get the word out there? We just don't know how to do it. That's sometimes as I do a little survey. I was just doing a little survey, just asking people a live survey. Why don't you share what you do? A lot of people don't know how to do it. They really don't. Number two, we don't want to appear prideful. That's what I was just talking about. We don't want to feel like we, popping our own collar, boasting about all the great work and how great we are. That's another reason. And I got, because we are keeping the privacy of those that we serve. Maybe we feel it's not our story to tell, right? Not my story to tell. I know what I'm doing, but that's not my story to tell, so keeping people's privacy. And number four, a lot of times we don't think that it's important, which is how this came about. I got a lot of people who say, well, it ain't important to do that. Just do the work. Just do the work. But then they come to me as a funding coach to say, how can I get funded? How can I be funded and be the secret in the desert? You know, so that's I definitely say that one is not true. Not thinking it's important, because it is. Okay, let's talk about number one. We don't really know how to do it. Now, I don't claim to be an expert in marketing, although as the development director for many years and a funding expert, a big piece of my job as the in my career, during my career, was as a director of marketing and development. So development is raising the money, but marketing is marketing so that we will be available to get the money, right? So I was the director of both of those. And so there's many ways that we use throughout my career, over 37 years in the nonprofit sector before I actually started Dr. Debra's Nonprofit Solutions in my retirement last year. But we've used several ways to market our nonprofit and the services that we offer to the community. On one side, on the marketing side, and then on the PR side. So, and bringing awareness. That's another thing, to bring awareness. Some of the ways we did is that we would host an in-person event, like a community event. Some people call it a launch event or whatever you want to call it, but a community event to let the community know that, hey, we are here and we are here to serve. We have been serving in this community. We still available to serve. We will stand alongside you as you have a need. We are here. So you can do a live event and invite people out. Now we're in COVID, so you do have to do the safety and everything, but you can still have an in-person event. There's so many different events, and I don't mean a fundraiser. Fundraiser is good, but I'm just talking about a friend raiser, to let the community know that you're there. That's a great way to market. Another thing, use social media. Get stuff out there in social media platforms. Let people know that you're around. Let people know what you're doing. Let people know who you are. Go live sometimes. Start do a podcast. Let people know, because I'm gonna be coming back with a podcast that I used to do, a healing moment with Dr. Deborah. That podcast is coming back under my nonprofit. It was part of my nonprofit. It will be coming back. So where I share some of the things that we're doing, and I share some of the healing tools that I use as a healing and deliverance coach and pastoral psychotherapist. So I will be bringing that podcast back. So you can do social media, Facebook page. I would recommend a Facebook page strictly for your nonprofit. So you can post stuff there so that people will be able to find it. You can share testimonials. I shared a testimonial the other day with somebody that we're serving through Healing Life Fellowship. So you can share testimonials. You can do an e-newsletter to your supporters. Now we're working on ours right now for Healing Life Fellowship Inc. And you can get your email, create a list, and start sending out, keep people updated on what you're doing, the work that you're doing. You can do a mail campaign, and I'm sure many of you get those in the mail. Yeah. Yep. I have written many of those for many organizations. But yeah, you can do an actual hard mail campaign and mail right into the household, send them a letter introducing your organization, let them know what you're doing. And even, of course, you can ask for support in doing that. You can join a membership organization, like a networking organization where you get an opportunity to tell what your nonprofit is about, what it's doing, where you would like to go, share some of your strategic plans in this membership organization. So those are just a few of the ways that throughout my career that I have assisted some nonprofits in marketing their programs, marketing their services, and even just letting people bring in awareness to what they focus on in the community. And so that was that one, is that we don't know how. And so I just threw you out some ideas on some things you can do to get the word out. Number 2 is we don't want to appear prideful. We talked about that when I first started. I can definitely understand not wanting to appear prideful, sharing all the things that you do, especially when you try to say, I did this, I did this. But when you start thinking about your organization, not as an I, even if you're the founder or the leader, not as an I, but as a we. Look what we have done. Look what the collective we have done. This is what your money has done. This is what you have helped us to do. We have done this. Get other people to shout it out. Get somebody from the board to talk about it if you don't feel comfortable. Get somebody from the board to share what you're doing. Get somebody who have benefited from your services. Like I said, through testimonials, do a testimonial. And with my clients, I do share what they do. If they at least share it with me, I don't want to have to find it. If they at least let me know, tag me in it or something, I do share it. And many of you probably have seen some of my shares where I put in there, my clients rock. After that, I share something wonderful that they're doing. So if you don't feel comfortable as a nonprofit leader, then you can get somebody else, designate somebody else, ask somebody else to start shouting out some of the stuff you do, but you are going to have to share it with them. That's part of being a great nonprofit leader. You need to let people know, what you're doing. I like how Brian K. McNeil, he says, don't commit the sin of the desert, knowing where the water is, but you ain't telling nobody. So start telling people about your nonprofit, what your nonprofit is doing, and who you support. How are they going to find out if you don't let them know? All right. And so we talked about, we don't really know how. I gave you a couple of ways you can do it. We don't want to appear prideful. Okay, let somebody else do it, or think about that you're committing the sin of the desert because your nonprofit is the bomb. You know that it's available for people to use, but you won't tell nobody. So what are you in existence for? Number 3 is we want to keep the privacy of those we serve. Now, this is a serious one. And you know that I know this as a pastoral psychotherapist and even healing and deliverance coach. A lot of people come to my nonprofit, Healing Lives Fellowship, because they're going through trauma. That's what we focus on. We focus on trauma-sensitive programs and services. So we help people to deal with limiting beliefs, with their strongholds. We help people to deal with getting past a traumatic time. We help people to deal with getting past sexual trauma, human trafficking, domestic violence. So a lot of times when people share with us here at Healing Lives Fellowship, we're walking a fine line because of laws and because of ethics codes. So I truly get that we want to keep the privacy of those we serve. But how you get around this is that you don't use names. You don't use defining things that could define who that is. Ooh, that's Sally. You can't say, yeah, she lived right next door to the McDonald's, right there on the corner of A and B Street, and then her house is yellow. Now, come on. So you got to learn how to share information without sharing somebody's personal information. So that does walk a fine line, but there is a way to do it, especially if you get a testimonial written by them. So they'll put what they want to share. And you will be surprised to find out that there are actually people who are waiting for you to ask them what you like to share. There are people who are waiting to share. I asked somebody to share and they sent me a whole letter. I didn't even know how to share that one because it was an actual letter. So I'm going to work with my marketing team and we're going to pull out some pieces of it. Now, I told when I tell people to share a testimony, I said, only share what you would want people to know because we are going to use this. And so they sign off on it and they share it with me. So you can get around that by asking people to share if they don't want to. You can ask if you can share their story without the names. You can just say, we helped a young woman, we helped a young man, or we helped a person, or a person came into our program. You can talk like that, or you can talk in generalities. This year alone, we've served over 200 people. You can say things like that, but you should share what you've been doing. And you can do that while keeping the privacy of those you serve. And number 4, we just don't think it's important. Now, this is the one really that caused me to want to answer this question because that's what we started with. Why should I? That ain't even important. I just want to do the work. It's okay to just want to do the work. But think about this. People do need to hear about your work. They need to become more aware that is even a need. Think about it. Otherwise, what happens is the issue falls through the cracks. If nobody's holding up the banner like, hey, human trafficking. So I hold up the human trafficking, the trauma healing. I share the banner of what happens during trauma. I share the banner of Many times kids enter school and the reason why they're not performing has nothing to do with their ability to do the work, but it may be some trauma they've experienced. So our trauma sensitive programs, our literacy program is trauma sensitive. Our family literacy program is a trauma sensitive program that also offers stress relief techniques. We also offer sessions with me, sliding scale sessions with me, so we can figure out and get to the root of some of the trauma so that people can perform at their best. So, but who would know that was a problem unless I said something about it, or unless some other organization. I'm not the only organization that deals with trauma or trauma-based programming. But who would do that? Who would know if people are not paying attention that there's a need, somebody's hungry, somebody's homeless, then it's up to us to bring light to the situation. So it is important. It is important. So I'm not just talking about funding. Of course, it's important. As a funder for many years, serving as a grant manager for government funding, where I had to give out grants. I don't know you personally. I don't know you personally, so I'm gonna sit in the funder seat. I don't know your organization personally. I need to find out more about it. I have this proposal, very well written, but I need to find out some real stuff. I need to go be able to collaborate and confirm some of this stuff you telling me in this piece of paper. So if I go to your social media, if I look up on your website and I can't see the work, how am I supposed to know that the work is true? You got to give me something. That's not, don't make it so hard for a funder to give you the money. Don't make it so hard. I don't know you personally unless you called me up. Now, hey, that's a good one, but you would still have to do what? Tell me what you've been doing. Tell me your major accomplishments. That's usually in a grant proposal. Tell me your major accomplishment. What has your organization accomplished? What makes you the person to get this grant to do this work? What makes you so special? What makes your organization so special? So you do have to tell somebody. It is important. It is important to communicate the need for support in order to solve real world problems. So we've went over. We don't really know how to do it. I gave you a couple of things that you could do to get the word out. We don't want to appear prideful. I told you, yeah, I understand you don't want to feel prideful. If you really still have a problem doing it, get somebody else to do it. That's really the thing. Get somebody else to do it. I don't care if it's somebody professional who you hired. Get somebody else to do it. Tell your board. Everybody post something that you've been doing. Number 3. We want to keep the privacy of those we serve. Yes, you do. But like I told you, I gave you some ways to do that by not using names, not doing anything that any descriptive things that describe the person so well that people know who they are. And number 4, we don't think it's important, and it is important. And it is important. So let's share what we do with these great organizations. Let's not make it so hard for funders to find a reason to support us. Don't make it so hard. Man, I used to have a hard time just giving away money. But don't make it so hard for us to find you. Let your donors know that you're putting their money to good work. If somebody has donated to you, but they never see you, never post anything that you're doing something, how you think that makes somebody feel? That's their hard-earned money. That's what I think about. That's why I post about my stuff. Is real sensitive because it's about trauma, but I try to be very cognizant of posting and letting my donors and my supporters know that their money is going to something good. And I thank them for supporting us. So let's do that. Let's get funding ready so that we can continue to do the great work that we do in the community. Our goal is to become so sustainable that we can take our organizations from vision to mission. More than just a vision, it's now our mission to do good. Join me every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern for a nonprofit nugget with Dr. Deborah right here. And I'll be giving you a little something to chew on, just a little something to chew on. If you would like to contact me or send me a question, you can do so in my inbox, or you can contact me at Dr. Deborah at DrDebra Nonprofit Solutions.com. Again, that's Dr. Deborah at DrDebraNonprofitSolutions.com. Thank you and have a great day and continue to serve. This has been a Nonprofit Nugget with Dr. Deborah. Be blessed.